Hello, Gunters, and welcome to the basement. My name is Albert Padilla, and today is July 8th, 2020. We just got some pretty huge news. The official announcement of Ready Player 2 was done earlier this morning. This is the first opportunity I've had a chance to get behind a microphone and kind of talk about this. So I just want to make a quick video, give my initial thoughts on the announcement of the book, and maybe even speculate on what we could expect based on some of the things that we've seen. And as you can see behind me, first off, this is the cover of the new book. So very similar to the original one. We're going to get into a little bit of some of the things that I've noticed here. Could be nothing. Maybe it's something. Knowing Ernest Klein, it probably does mean something. So if you have not heard, officially the book is coming out later this year, November 24th, 2020. That is exactly 139 days away. I've already done the math there. I'm trying to think if there's something behind the date itself, 11/24, 2020. Not sure just yet. Haven't had a chance to really dive into it. Again, knowing Ernest Klein, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Um, so I'll probably spend way too much time looking at here a little bit later. So a couple other things that want to make mention of, as you guys know, originally the book was released in 2011. That went on to be a huge success. The movie came out in 2008. 7 years later, it did almost like 582 billion dollars or $1 million globally, right? So it was a huge blockbuster. I think it's safe to say I've had a chance to talk to Ernie Klein a few times last year about a potential sequel. I think that is all on the table. So if depending on how the book's going to do, which probably is a no-brainer, it's going to do pretty amazing. I think we can fully expect for him to do some kind of a novel or sorry a movie sequel as well. But all right, quickly, let's talk about the book cover itself. So, first at first glance, we've gone from there's some obvious, again, that's a high contrast type cover. You've got dark background with this kind of a teal, aqua blue looking lettering. The lettering's a little bit different than the original one. It was solid letters, where these almost look like paper folds of some sort. Again, I may be reading too much into this, but that's what it looks like to me. Maybe there's something there. One of the other key differences, if you can see, and if I can do this right, like this is a green screen, right? So right about here, so there's the little O, and now on the original cover, Ready Player One, there was a key in there, and we all know what the key was for. For this one, that is very similar to a rupee from the Legend of Zelda series. So, what does that say? Well, there may be a gem for, I guess, the most obvious clue is there's a gem somehow that people are looking for, and whether that's the end goal or there's a gem that maybe there's multiple gems, maybe it's based on Zelda itself. Maybe he's taking 8-bit games, that kind of thing, and using some of the storylines or parallels directly from a book like that, very direct that way. But I think one of the things that's it's kind of interesting for me at least is when you see that rupee, it does look like an older 8-bit rupee. So there's been a lot of speculation as to whether or not Ready Player 2 would be set further in the future, maybe the 90s, right? They're going to skip a decade and go to the 90s. This it could be still. I mean, you still had rupees look like this in like Legend is or Link's Awakening from the Super Nintendo version of the games or version. So it's a possibility still. But I think it's safe to say we're not taking a huge jump forward by any means. So we're still going to probably still sit within the 80s pop culture. Maybe the 90s pop culture is still a possibility as well. Who knows? The other thing that, and again, could be nothing. I went and counted all of the little dots in the background. There's 25 total. I don't know what this means. I think 25 total. I think some of them have little crosses in them. Some of them look like little block squares that are kind of overlaid. There's, I think, three of those and three crosses total. Everything else looks like a dot. I started thinking, well, what if you removed the lettering and somehow in the background, those, if you connected the dots, does it paint a picture? Maybe. Again, I have not had a chance to do this, but certainly if somebody wants to go ahead and spend some time doing that, maybe it does make a picture. Maybe there's a clue here. It's hard for me to believe that somebody like Ernie Klein, and especially Dan Farrow, who's kind of behind a lot of this as far as a producer goes, that they didn't embed already Easter eggs in the announcement or in what we see from the cover itself. So that's kind of all I have right now. I mean, again, we don't really have a lot of hard facts, a lot of hard details about it. Oh, I should mention the C in Klein's name still looks like the Pac-Man looks like Pac-Man. So didn't not a huge change from that as well. But again, we don't have a lot of information just yet. It was strictly an announcement. I'm sure over the next couple of weeks, months, we'll start getting more and more. Interesting enough, I don't know if you guys caught this. It's been talked about here in some of the little Gunter circles, but Ernie Klein's removed all of his social media platforms. So I think his Twitter's gone, YouTube's gone, Facebook's gone. I don't know if that was in preparation of this, so he wasn't getting flooded with all kinds of announcements and people pinging him and that sort of thing. But it was interesting that that happened and that he did remove all of that. So hopefully we'll get, or maybe that's just a way to kind of control, how much information is going out and how much information is coming into him and his staff. So hopefully we'll get some more information there over the next couple weeks, more details about it. I'm really excited, as you can tell. I broke away for as first chance I had to kind of put a video out, and I know I really haven't done a whole lot with the show in well over a year now. So before I go, let me just kind of give you an update on where we are with the show. So the show was kind of shelved. It was put in the basement, for lack of a better term, but it was put in the basement. That was always meant to be a temporary thing. There were, as you guys, some of you know, I do the Cantina Cast, and we were dedicating a lot of time to really focusing on that show, trying to get content out week after week. On top of that, the original format of the basement was one that it required a number of hosts to come on. It required a lot from the hosts, guest hosts as well, because they had to do a lot of homework, and it was a very grueling schedule. I have no regrets about what we did, though. It was a lot of fun, and to this day, I know a lot of our supporters still reach out, even just yesterday or a couple days prior to even this announcement, and then certainly with this announcement, I've had people reach out and say, "When are you bringing the basement back? When is this coming back?" So yeah, that's kind of where the basement went. It was just a time thing. It is a huge passion of mine, and I've continued to say that if and when there's a time and an opportunity to bring the show back, we certainly are going to do that. So with that, the time to bring the show back is now. So I've had a chance to reach out to a number of former co-hosts, and they've all signed on, if you will. I've made a few phone calls this morning just to confirm all of this, and everything looks set to go. So we are going to bring the basement back officially. To in what capacity, I don't know yet. Again, it's really going to be contingent upon everybody's schedules and how much we can do here. My goal would be I would love to get through all of the rest of Ready Player One, the first novel, and do that before the launch, just leading right up to the launch of Ready Player Two. That gives me about, well, let's see, I've actually not even done that. So August, September, October, November. So I've got about 4 months here to kind of really pack that in. I don't think that's doable. So we'll have to figure out something where maybe once Ready Player Two comes out, we kind of do something in tangent or whatever. So I don't know. I haven't figured all the details yet. I just know that I've been talking about bringing the show back for a few weeks now, kind of behind the scenes and under the table. Uh, it just so happens, and it just so happens that today was one of the days I was going to be reaching out to some folks, and so maybe it's the stars lining up, maybe it's a message from above, but it sounds like this is the right thing to do, and so we're going to move forward with it. So hopefully you're excited about that. I know I'm excited about that. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and so yeah, look for more shows. Again, I don't know exactly what the format's going to look like. We may condense it down. We may not do the 3 hour marathon shows. We may do a more streamlined, kind of lean type show. And I think one thing, just now that I've got just a few minutes left here, one thing that I'd like to do with the show is possibly do what you see here. Do a live stream, do YouTube videos, incorporate imagery and that sort of thing, and then still release the podcast as well. So we'd still be able to do the audio, extract the audio, put that out as an audio podcast if you're interested in just listening to the show. But certainly if you want to see it visually and join in or have some visual representations as you're watching the show or listening to the show, that will be available to you as well. So a lot's changed over the last year in terms of what we're doing at the Earglue Media Network. So thanks to Mike and all the other co-hosts who have continued to support all of the shows and being able to provide tools like this that allow us to do uh, much cooler things than we originally started doing. So that's going to do it for this quick video. Again, I just want to say hello to everybody. Share my initial thoughts on the Ready Player 2 announcement and the cover of the book itself. Certainly, as more information comes out, I will bring it to you guys one way or the other. And please look forward to new episodes of The Basement returning very shortly once we get a plan together and get started on that. So with that, I'll leave you all alone. Take care, and we'll see you guys very soon.